here's what happened. I was actually in a training session with one of my clients. I'm teaching these agents and helping them improve their contacts, get more people to answer them, and I totally lost track of time, so I'm so sorry. But I will tell you the little secret that we've been working on, which is for this team, and this is a bonus in addition to the webinar that I'm doing today. Here's the bonus. So what we're doing with this team is they were saying, yeah, you know, we're not getting a lot of answers from people out of the pond, right? Older leads that have come in from various sources. And so what we're doing now with these agents is we say, hey, go to the pond, find the people that haven't been communicated with for a long time, grab a batch of them, 25, 30, 40, 50, however many of them you can make a first contact with today, day one. You're going to move them into your account out of the pond because this team uses a pond system. If you don't have a pond system, you don't need to worry about it. But you grab a batch of them and you're going to give all of them a call, text, and email day one. 3 attempts, call, text, email, right? And you write a template for text one, a template for email one. So you're going to call through everybody, find out if they've bought something yet or if they're still in the market, send them a similar text message, send them a similar email. That's day one. Day two, you're going to go through that same list of people and you're going to do another call, another text, another email, and you're going to send them text to, email to, which basically just doubles down on the question, right? Hey, I'm just trying to find out if you bought or not. Then the next day, the third day, day 3, you're going to go through the same list of people. Third time, call, text, email. And you're going to send them text 3, email 3. You just write these things out. And what we're finding is that these agents are getting a lot more contacts out of these older leads than they were before, because what they were doing before is they would just go to the pond, they would find a batch of leads, they would make some calls and some texts and maybe the emails, right? But then whenever they came back to the pond, again, they would only do it one time basically per contact. And then whenever they went to prospect again and they went to the pond, they found a new batch of people, gave one message to everybody. What we're finding is the compounding messages over 3 days get you a lot more responses. So there you go. That's my gift to you for showing up late for the webinar. How does that sound? Chat in, thanks, Dale, if that works for you. If that makes, does that make it up? Did I make up being late? Now I got to tee up my slides for today. There we go. Okay, good. Cool. All right, Emily, drop the poll real quick. I want to see how many new people we have on here while I'm teeing up my slides for today's talk.
Hey, Dale, can you please make me a co-host?
Crap. Yes.
Thanks.
Dude, I am off today. Make co-host. There we go. All right, Emily's going to drop a quick poll. Just let us know whether you've been on here before. Templates for the I wish that trick works when I'm late to a listing presentation, right? Let's see. Amanda Davis, templates for text and emails. I don't have a specific template, Amanda. Here's how you're going to write it. Just catch it, okay? Just catch this. Hey, Amanda, looks like you were looking at homes for sale a long time ago on my website. I wanted to see if you're still in the market to purchase or if you bought already. Question mark, dash, Dale from real estate. Day one. That's day one. Day two. Hey, Amanda, never heard back. Just wanted to find out if you bought already or if you're still looking. Let me know. LMK. Thanks, Dale. That's message 2. Message 3. Hey, Amanda, I'm pretty sure you hate being bugged as much as I hate bugging you. And by the way, my manager won't let me stop messaging you until you answer. So please let me know, did you buy already or are you still looking? Dash Amanda. Yeah? You guys got that? 3 messages. You take that little text message, you format it, make it an email. Same thing. Text 1, 2, 3. Message 1, 2, 3. Phone call 1, 2, 3. Good? Okay. All right, everybody. Today's webinar. I'm going to end the poll. Great job. Thanks for answering that. I'd just like to know how many new people we have here. Let's talk about smashing call reluctance today. Good? Okay. I need to turn this music off in the background. All right, so today's webinar, we're going to talk about smashing call reluctance. Now, I personally, and the backstory is important here, just so I want you to understand, like, why should I listen to some guy about smashing call reluctance? What's his experience? How long has he been doing this? How much experience does he have? And has he led other people to do it also? Me personally, I've worked as a telemarketer selling credit card insurance. This, no lie, part-time in high school is when I started. I hated the job, but I did it anyway. It was enough, I made beer money doing it. So I did it, got pretty good at it. They actually moved me from selling credit card insurance at the time, which was totally worthless, over to Time Magazine renewals. So basically calling up people who already had Time Magazine and already liked it. And basically I just said, hey, do you want to keep getting that magazine you love? Well, I just need to make sure that we get you renewed here. So I got so good at selling credit card insurance, they moved me over to just renewing people's Time Magazine subscriptions, which was cake. I cold prospected homeowners to refi them out of high interest rate second mortgages. This is before I started selling real estate. So I worked as a designer out of college. I hated the job, wasn't right for me, and I didn't make much money. I wasn't making the money I wanted to make. And at the time, I just got into mortgages. I ran into some guy at an investment seminar who was a mortgage broker, and he said, hey, why don't you originate some mortgages part-time for me? So I said, okay, how do I find them? I didn't have money to spend on leads. So I just went down to City Hall, looked up their mortgage records, and found people who had a high interest rate second mortgage. And just reverse looked up their phone numbers, cold called them, and said, hey, I can get you a lower rate, lower your payment. Can we run the numbers and see if I can get you out of that high interest rate second mortgage? And then I personally, as a real estate agent, when I was in production, I personally took between 5 and 7 listings per month from expireds and for sale by owners, for rent by owners, circle prospecting, doing cold outbound calling to sellers. And after all of this experience, I've also sold, this is the hardest one, selling, coaching, and training to agents and team leaders for the last 9 years. Why is this the hardest one? It's hard to sell sales training to professional sales people, right? We as agents get pelted with phone calls all the time. So it can be kind of hard to pitch agents and team leaders to spend money on training. But after all of this experience, here's what I can tell you. Prospecting sucks. It still sucks. I still don't like doing it. I still don't like being rejected. I've never liked being rejected. Through all of that, I didn't like being rejected. I still don't like being rejected. Why am I telling you that prospecting sucks? Because I'm just being honest with you. It doesn't get that much better. It gets easier. It gets more fluid, but it's never something that most people are really going to enjoy doing because the name of the game is rejection. You have to go through a lot of rejection in order to do it. Rejection's never fun. Getting started is the hardest part. Getting started is the hardest part. So what you might have an issue with is getting yourself started. Keeping going is the next hardest part. How many of you have finally gotten over the fear of making the call or the reluctance to make the calls? You start making the calls, and after the first good conversation you have or first appointment you set, you're like, whoa, God, I'm done. I quit now. So keeping going is the hardest part. So I'm going to talk about some techniques and strategies to help you guys do that today. And lead generating while you're busy is almost as hard as all of them put together because universally, when we get busy, the first thing that goes is the lead generation. Anytime we're busy, anytime we have deals to service, we have clients to talk to, reports to review, or even appointments to get ready for, the first thing that goes is generating new business and prospecting or calling or doing whatever it is you do to generate your new business. But I will tell you this, that in our business, there is one way to win and one way to lose. And they're two sides of the same coin. And that is lead generation. The one way to win in this business, and I've seen it, I've done it, I've been the guy who just lead generates, like even to the point where I would have signed listing agreements sitting on my desk that I didn't even turn in for up to a month, right? Terrible. I'm just being honest here. But I just kept going out and lead generating because I know that no matter what, I can screw everything else up. If I generate enough business, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to make a lot of money and I'm going to stay in business. Here's what I also know is it's the one way to lose. The one surefire way to fail out of this business is if you do not consistently lead generate. We've seen it time and time again. That's why there's such a high failure rate of real estate agents, because they do not regularly or consistently lead generate. If you do it, you'll be great. You'll do great. You'll make a lot of money. You'll be very successful. If you don't do it, you'll have a rocky experience or fail out, right? At best, it'll be rocky. At worst, you're going to fail out of this business and go get a job. So we want to master our mindset and our skill set. They go hand in hand, right? And so my experience is that my partners and I built a team and scaled it to eventually the number 2 in the Philadelphia market and a top 5 KW mega team at the time. We had 30 agents and 650 plus transactions. We were a mega team. This is as a result of mastering our mindset and skill sets. My ISAs produced 36 to 60 transactions per person per year. And this is in their first 12 months. If you don't know what an ISA is, it's an inside sales agent. It's somebody that you pay to work your leads and set up appointments for you to go show houses or to go and take a listing. And it's just an inside sales agent. It's somebody who gets a salary, a base salary plus commission, to only do that half of the job. And so within that team that we scaled, I had an inside sales department that I scaled, built, trained, managed. And with our scripting techniques and our messaging techniques and our management, we were able to take somebody off the street with no real estate experience, combine them with our average mix of leads and our scripting methodology, and they were able to produce 36 to 60 transactions in their first 12 months from an average mix of leads, which is astronomical. And it's the way that I was able to take those listings, to be able to get that much business from complete strangers. And now we turn around and we're teaching these techniques and strategies to agents and ISAs and teams and brokers across the US and Canada. So I want you to chat in for me. How does call reluctance show up for you? How does it show up for you? How does it start? How do you know that you have call reluctance? How does it affect you? Chat it in for me. Chat in for me. This is a little bit interactive. Avoid calling, email, or Loom videos. Okay, how else? How does call reluctance show up for you? When I think about calling, my initial thought is they're only going to say, I'm just looking. Okay? And that prevents you from making the calls, I guess. How else? How else does call reluctance show up for you? You came to a webinar about smashing call reluctance, which means that you have an issue with call reluctance, or you're looking for tips or strategies to help you get better at avoiding call reluctance more. So chat in. What's going on with you? Stumble on what to say. That makes sense. Haven't spoken to them in too long to reach out. Rarely get past the first call attempt. I procrastinate. Feel like I'm interrupting. There we go. Now the ideas are flowing. Good job, guys. Okay. I wanted to get these out to see. I want you first identifying, where does my mind go? How does this affect me? What am I thinking? What's my thought patterns around this? Feel like I'm interrupting. Great. Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you have a time-blocked schedule? What do I mean by a time-blocked schedule? I'll just show, where you take your schedule and you have dedicated blocks of time that you're going to lead generate, that you're going to go on appointments, that you're going to do administrative work. Do you have a list of people to contact? Do you know who you're going to reach out to? Is it prepared already ahead of the time that you said you were going to lead generate? So when I ask about time block schedule, a lot of agents don't time block their schedules. It's crazy to me. And they just kind of randomly generate some leads whenever they feel like doing it. That's the most inefficient way to do it. The best way to do it is you decide what days and what times and for how long am I going to lead generate. And you make an appointment with yourself. You put it on the calendar, and ideally you just make it repeating. So every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for me right now, I have a 3-hour time block on my schedule every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And that is sales time for me. It's either conducting sales calls to sell people into our training programs, or it's to work the leads and follow up with people to sell them into our training programs. That's what I do. It's a repeating meeting that's on my schedule. You need to have the same thing. And you know how I said there was one way to win and one way to lose, which is lead generation? Well, take this all the way down to your schedule. So some of the problems that I've seen that agents have with schedules is, one, they either don't really have a schedule and they don't time block, or they try to be way too tight and they try to time block everything. Like they try to manage their schedule down to like the half-hour or 15-minute blocks. Here's the thing that I've discovered for me personally. When I first started time blocking, I tried to plan out my schedule like that, and it just went to shit, right? Every day, for some reason, my schedule exploded. Something happened. I couldn't follow it. And so I just stopped doing it altogether. That's a mistake. When I came back around to it, I said, okay, the most important thing for me to do in my business is to lead generate. So I know I can't totally control my schedule altogether. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to put my lead gen blocks on my schedule, and that's the only thing that is time blocked. And as long as I show up and do my lead generation when I said I was going to do it and for how long I said I was going to do it, that's a win. So at bare minimum, just do that. Get your time blocks on the schedule. Follow those. Start there. Don't worry about everything else. Your rest of your schedule can go down in flames, okay? It can go way off track, and that's fine. Just get your lead gen done. You put it on there, you follow it. Show up and do it. And then, if you can, you start to work in other things. So obviously, if you lead generate, you're going to need some administrative time, where you're updating your system, where you're sending emails that have to be sent, where you're showing tours together, right? You're preparing your listing packets or whatever it may be, you're comping properties. So the next step, after you get your lead gen on your schedule and you can follow the blocks, then you add on an administrative time. So you're going to decide when your admin work gets done, between what time and on what days you have admin time. You build the muscle of time blocking by doing that step by step. But if you can't at least get your lead gen done during those time blocks, there's no way that you can have a fully controlled schedule, right? So you start at the beginning, get that part nailed down, and then you build on it. And then the list of people to contact. Massively important. Don't waste your prospecting time trying to figure out who to talk to. Spend time outside of lead gen putting together your lists or optimizing your CRM so that you have and can easily find the people that you're going to talk to. Who am I going to talk to first? Who am I going to talk to next? Who am I going to talk to after that? And within, I forgot to mention, so we do this training for free. At the end of this, I'm going to quickly talk about a 12-week boot camp that we do. And within the boot camp, we help you structure how to work in your CRM, how to structure your schedule, and obviously what to say to these people and what to message to these people to get them to answer you. And I'll talk about that at the end. Do you have confidence around what to say and when to say it? Based on what I'm seeing in these responses, the answer is no. So if you don't have confidence around what to say and how to say it, when to say it, of course you're going to have call reluctance. Of course you're not going to want to do it. Nobody wants to show up and be bad at something, right? Nobody wants to do something that they don't know how to do or that is confusing or difficult for them. And you know how I talked at the beginning about all of the lead gen experience that I've had? And I have experience building and running and managing sales departments. So not only do I have the experience of doing it, but of the experience of teaching it. And so here's what I can tell you. When you're really dialed in on your scripting, what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, when you're going to say it, it gives you a massive amount of confidence so that this call reluctance idea gets much smaller, right? I still suffer from call reluctance. I still don't want to get rejected, but I very easily know how to approach people, how to talk to people, how to handle any objection that I run into. And so my call reluctance is like that. It's much easier for me to start versus somebody who has a higher amount of call reluctance. If you don't know what to say, you don't have a good plan, you have a bad mindset around what your results are going to be, your call reluctance is going to be massive. Okay. Do you have a community of other people doing the same thing? This is an important question. So when I got in the business, when I started, I was at Coldwell Banker. So I went from mortgages into selling real estate. I was at Coldwell Banker. And, even back then, most of the agents in the office did not prospect. They were not banging out phone calls to talk to people. So me sitting in my little cubby with the low walls in it where everybody can hear what you're doing, it was so embarrassing for me to be making these calls and having difficult conversations and losing when you get hung up on, or it's clear that the conversation is not going great, right? And people can hear all of that. It was embarrassing, and it just made it more difficult for me to actually do it. And when I would go home or prospect from home, I was alone by myself, right? And it's hard to keep going when you're by yourself. So within Coldwell Banker, I found this group of other agents who were also lead generating, right? They were calling FSBOs, they were calling expireds, they were circle prospecting, they were working internet leads. And so getting together with them to role play with them, to practice with them, and really just be in a group of other people who were doing the same thing gave me a lot more confidence and a lot more support. So if you're alone, if you don't have a group or a community, you need to find a community of other people that are doing what you're trying to do. It makes it a lot easier. Not only that, but, kind of similar to our training company where we have boot camps of people that are doing this together and they can role play together and they can talk to each other. And just even the fact of having other people who are expecting you to show up for class, expecting you to show up and role play, helps to give you some of that external accountability to help get you over that call reluctance because, you don't want to disappoint the group. It's easy to disappoint yourself by yourself. It's a little more difficult to disappoint the group of people that you're in. And do you have a resource library of positive mindset materials? So I listen to books, right, on my phone. I have a lot of books on my Audible that I listen to. And that helps me a lot too. I also watch people on YouTube. Some of the people that I'm following right now are like Alex Hormozy. There's another guy named Joe Hudson that I'm following. And it helps a lot to hear positive mindset and reinforcement from other people. So this is, these are all of the steps that you really need to put together. If you can put these things together, it's going to help you master your mindset. Here's a couple of books. The Motivation Myth by Jeff Hayden. This is a really great one. This book helped me discover, here's the backstory and how I came to this book. Basically, I was like, I'm not really motivated, to reach out to leads. I need motivation. Where can I get motivation? How do I find motivation? And I kept thinking that motivation was an external thing. And what I discovered after getting this book is motivation is actually created by activity. So you don't find external motivation usually. Motivation usually is intrinsic and gets generated by you. The problem is it doesn't get generated until you start doing something, until you start taking the action. So I would sit around not lead generating, trying to be motivated to lead generate. Likewise, I would sit around trying to get motivated to exercise or motivated to go to the gym. The problem is the motivation doesn't happen until you start doing it. So this is the trick. This is the secret to it, right? Which is you have to figure out how to get yourself to start doing it when you don't feel like doing it so that you can feel like doing it. I know it sounds counterintuitive, right? This is the thing that I use now to exercise. When I don't feel like doing it, I'm like, yep, you're in the right spot. Of course you don't feel like doing it because you haven't started doing it yet. Of course you don't feel like lead generating because you haven't started lead generating yet. You have to start doing it, And then a little ways into it, you'll start to get the momentum, you'll start to get the motion, and then you feel compelled and propelled to do it. How many of you have ever finally gotten yourself to exercise? You're like, I don't feel like doing this. I want to stop, but you keep doing it. And then some way through, you're like, oh, okay, this is feeling pretty good. This is not terrible. And then by the time you get done with the workout, you're like, oh my God, that was great. I feel awesome. How many of you have gone through that? Chat in me if you've gone through that series of generating motivation. Yeah? And you get done, you feel amazing. You're like, I'm going to do this every day. And then you wake up the next morning like, I don't want to do that at all. Right? You go through that too, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Same thing with lead generating. It's crazy, but I just tell myself that I will not feel like doing it. I'll never feel like doing it until I start doing it. So that's just kind of like a little mental trick that I use to get myself to do it. I don't feel like doing it. Yep, you're in the right spot. Of course you don't feel like doing it. You don't feel like doing it because you haven't been doing it. And you'll never feel like doing it unless you start doing it. Let's talk about Willpower Doesn't Work by Benjamin Hardy. This is an excellent book too. And it talks about controlling your environment. You know how I talked about that time block, at least doing your lead gen on time, right? Consistently. That is controlling your environment, or it's part of controlling your environment, controlling your schedule. You need to create systems and habits that support your goals and don't detract from your goals. So, staying up late. I like to stay up late and play video games. If I stay up late and play video games, I don't get out of bed as early in the morning. If I don't get out of bed as early in the morning, I won't do my workout, because if I don't work out before, say, 10 a.m., I'm not working out that day. So it's a chain reaction of things, right? I have to go to bed at a decent time to get enough sleep, to get up on time in order to do my excellent, healthy morning routine. And if I don't do that, my morning routine is off. I'm not being healthy, and then I feel bad about it. So you have to create these systems and habits that will support your goals and don't detract from your goals. Here's a couple more books to help you with mindset. Angela Duckworth, Grit, Learned Optimism by Martin Seligman. For those of you who are like, oh, they're just going to say they're only looking or it's pointless, this would be a great one, Learned Optimism. And then Mindset by Carol Dweck. And you can get all of these on Audible and just listen to them, because I don't know who the hell has time to actually read paper anymore. Okay. Here's another tech. I want to share a personal strategy that I use. This one is called Forest or the Trees. And it's something that I have to remind myself about frequently. So I'll just give you an example. These webinars. I've been doing webinars for the top CRM providers, website providers, lead providers for the last 6 years regularly. We do webinars every single week. It takes a lot of energy to show up and do these webinars. And sometimes I don't feel like doing it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this is the same crap over and again. I don't feel like doing it. It's not important. People are not interested in it, right? They don't need this. It's not necessary. And in those moments, I realize I'm focusing on the forest versus the trees. The forest, it's a monolithic structure. I'm looking at all of the people who would watch the webinars, all the agents out there, and I'm just making them all the same, right? It's just the forest. It's this wall, and they're all the same to me, and nothing is going to change, and this doesn't matter at all, and I'm in a totally negative headspace. That's looking at it as the forest. And so when I catch myself, I think, no. Remember the trees. The forest is made up of individual trees, and they're individual, they're unique, they have individual needs and desires and perspectives and wants. And if I turn it on its side, there's space in between these trees. It's not a monolith, right? It opens up more possibility for me. So I can consider, hey, maybe I can't help everybody. Maybe I'm not going to make an impact in every single person that watches my webinar. But there will be at least one or two people that are going to take the message from me that they need, and it's going to make an impact in their lives and in their businesses, and that makes me happy, right? So that's when I shift from this monolithic, all or nothing, singularity type of thinking, this overwhelming thinking, to a more positive, optimistic, opportunity-based thinking that's focusing on the individuals, right? Bringing it down to the individual level. I'm trying to make the best impact for those few people who need it versus trying to win everybody. And so that kind of thinking also helps in lead generating, right? Because if we're looking at, oh my God, I have all these leads, nobody wants to talk to me, it's all the same thing, nobody's buying or selling, it's a waste of my time, that's the forest talking right there. If you can switch it to individuals, wait a minute, I've helped lots of people buy and sell homes. And I remember having conversations with unique individuals who really appreciated my time, appreciated my experience, appreciated my help, appreciated my answers. And I know that within that stack of leads, there's a few of those people. I'm just going to go find them. That will give you the motivation to keep going. Is that helpful? Chat in yes for me if that's helpful. Good. Here's another strategy. Do it badly. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist, right? And I'm like, this is one of the reasons that I didn't play sports when I was a kid, is because I would get overwhelmed with the idea of being the best or doing it the best. And I would not do it if I couldn't be the best. And so even with here, let's say in coaching and training, I'm just giving you examples, real life examples for me. If I'm going to lead generate, I think, I'm rusty, it's not going to go well, I'm going to get rejected. I just give myself permission to show up and do it badly. Just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to win everybody. You don't have to win at all. To get myself to do it, just start doing it. Do it badly, right? Exercising, working out. I don't have to feel like it. I don't have to have all the energy. I don't even have to do a great workout. I can just do a crappy workout. I give myself permission to just show up and do the bare minimum. Show up and do a bad job. Show up and do a half-assed job. Show up and just, do the bare minimum to get it done. Giving myself that kind of permission makes it easier to do it. It helps me to get over the perfectionism of, I'll only do it if it's going to be perfect. I'll only do it if it's going to have amazing results. I'll only do it if it's going to be epic, right? It helps take that down for me. Was that helpful? Chat in for me. Okay. Just get started. So this is another technique that, hold on one second. My son is texting me. Just get started. So one of the things that helps is, this is kind of a new technique that I've started. And so it goes hand in hand with the I won't feel like it unless I start doing it kind of concept, is, okay, I'm going to just do this for 10 minutes. Just do it for 10 minutes or just do it for 20 minutes, right? Start doing it. Don't think about the middle. Don't think about the end. Don't think about the finish. Don't think about whether it's going to be good or not. Start doing it now for at least this small amount of time, and give yourself permission to do it badly, and focus on finding one individual. If we're talking about prospecting, one individual that you can help, right? That's it. Forget about everybody else. So this is a strategy to just get started, to make it easier. If I applied this to exercising, right? If I know I got to exercise, what I say to myself is, okay, I know I don't feel like doing it. I need to do this. I'll never feel like doing it, and I can't just never do it. So I'll never feel more like doing it than right now. I'm just going to get started. I'm just going to do 10 minutes. I'm just going to move heavy stuff from there to there. That's all I'm going to do, right? That's all I'm going to do. And I start doing it. I get warmed up. I get into it. And then I do the whole workout. And then we're good. And I got through the mind game of getting myself to get started. Okay. And then do it in a group, right? Find other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing and see if they can help you. Or what I mean by that, not see if they can help you. What I mean is get the implied accountability of doing this with other people. When I say implied accountability, what that means is if you have a group of other people that are doing the same thing, it validates you, and they will have a certain level of expectation that you're going to still hang around the group, that you're going to be doing what they're doing. And when you have bad days, you can bounce it off them. You can tell them what's going on. Okay, let's talk about your skills. This one makes a huge difference for you. Because again, who likes doing stuff that they suck at? Nobody. So I want to ask you a question. How confident are you at getting anyone on the phone and having a conversation with them? It's a rhetorical question. I just want you to think about it. You don't have to answer in the chat. How confident are you at getting anyone on the phone and having a conversation with them? If you're not, if your answer isn't, I can call any lead, any type, any source at any time, then you probably need to work on one or more of these core 4 skills. And through my experience of running and managing teams, I've really kind of narrowed it down to these are the 4 basics. And usually when I talk to salespeople who are struggling with getting more appointments, or they're struggling with getting more deals, or they're struggling with converting their leads into clients and nurtures and appointments, they always have some issue with their scripting, their approach around introductions, how they get into a conversation, right? That's really the starter of it. That really makes a big determination of whether or not you're going to continue on with a conversation with this lead. And in a lot of cases can even influence whether or not how your objection handling goes and whether or not you can ultimately get an appointment with them or have a next step. It really starts with your introductions. That's how important it is. In fact, we were just working with a call company that does calling, and we made changes to their intro scripts, just the introduction script, just the first things that their callers are saying when they get a consumer on the line. By making those changes, it tripled 3x, tripled the number of minute-plus conversations they were able to have. And they're doing thousands of dials every single week. That's a massive number, right? 3 times the number of minute-plus conversations just from an intro change. That's how important they are. And then objection handling. Obviously, the methodology, the approach, the way that you go about handling objections is a massive difference. So let me put it in a context for you how much of a difference this makes. When I was prospecting for sale by owners and expired listings here in the US, obviously, for sale by owners are generally opposed to using real estate agents or paying real estate agents, right? The conversation 9 times out of 10 starts off with an objection. That's where we start. Expireds usually had a bad experience with the market or their agent or both, right? And they are opposed to selling, they're opposed to listing, and a lot of times they're opposed to real estate agents. It starts off with objections. My success hinged a lot on my approach and ability to meet and handle objections with people. The difference between getting 0 listings a month and getting 7 listings in a month comes down to the skill set around objection handling. That's how important it is. It can make a massive difference for you. And objection handling doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be a fight or an argument. Objection handling is actually really simple when you know the principles around it. Value propositions. This is answering the question. If you imagine if a buyer or seller asked, why should I buy a home with you? Or why should I list my home with you? A value proposition is the answer that you would give back to them, right? It would be the reason that they should work with you instead of any other agent in the market. This goes into your sales conversations, your lead conversion conversations, and into your buyer and seller presentations. And then obviously closing for appointments. If you can't get an appointment, you probably can't get a contract. If you can't get a contract, you're not going to get a sale or a commission. Being able to tee up and ask for appointments is massively important to your success. So we are at time. This just talks about how introductions go wrong, how objections go wrong, right? These are the things that happen. I'm just flashing them on the screen for you because I'm running out of time to actually read this stuff. How value propositions go wrong, what happens to you if you've experienced any of these things. It's probably because of one of these things this scripting that you don't have, and how appointments go wrong, right? What happens if you don't have strong ability to ask for appointments? So we're running out of time, but I want to tell you about did you guys chat in for me? Did you get some valuable nuggets out of today around mindset, around call reluctance? Okay, good. Now I'm going to tell you about the boot camp. We have a 12-week boot camp that will make you a master at your scripting, which is those 4 core issues that I just told you about, plus schedule, CRM, your methodology for working. So if you can answer yes to these 2 questions, our boot camp might be a good fit for you. And so if you can answer yes to these 2 questions, we can jump onto a Zoom and I can answer your individual questions about the boot camp, how it works, what you can expect, what the results are that you would get, and what the payment plans are to do 12-week boot camp with us. And then from there, you can decide whether you want to do it or not. So question 1. Wait, let's drop the poll here. Sorry, I have a poll that you guys can answer these questions on. Okay, question 1. If our system could guarantee that you double your weekly appointments, could you invest at least $125 US in it? 125 US in it. Question 1. Yes or no? You have a poll here. Just answer the poll. If you don't know where the poll is, it should have popped up on your screen. If you can't find it, go to the bottom of your screen. You'll see a button that says polls and quizzes. So go find the poll, read the question, answer the question, and then I'll give you question 2. When I can see that 50% of you have answered the poll, I'll give you question 2. Okay, question 2. Do you believe that if you improved your sales skills, your consistency, and your CRM process, the way you work leads, it would be enough to finally hit your financial goals? Yes or no? And if you can answer yes to both of these questions, or even the maybe to the improving your skills and consistency and CRM process, we should jump onto a Zoom call, give you the details of the boot camp, pricing, structure, results, the whole 9. Okay? So if you can answer yes to could you invest $125 a week, and yes to working on your skills, consistency, and CRM process, then we should jump on a call and talk about the boot camp. Okay, good. So here's what I'm going to do. For those of you who could answer yes to the 2 questions, I'm going to go ahead and give you this QR code where you can book a time on my schedule. If you answer yes to the poll, but you don't find a time to book, I have another person, another lead trainer in my company. We can get you set up with her, Lori. So just answer the poll, and if you can't find a time that works for you, if you've answered the poll, if you said yes to both questions, we'll reach out to you and get you booked. Sound good? Okay, thanks for joining me today. Sorry I was late. Hopefully the info in the beginning will work out well for you. Have a great day. Oops, I didn't mean to end the share. Put it back over here. There we go. Okay, great. Thanks, guys.